Okay, so I'm back with another Pauper deck tech. I will go through it very quickly. So today we're running a Goblins list. It's not that spicy or different from other lists that you see, but I do think that the current version that I'm using here is pretty decently optimized, and there's definitely some powerful card choices in here, so let's quickly take a look. Okay, we're running 18 basic mountains, nothing crazy. Then we're playing 20 one-drop goblins. So first up, we have Foundry Street Denizen, 1 for a 1/1. It says whenever another red creature enters the battlefield under your control, it gets +1/+0 until end of turn. So a nice little aggro one-drop that gets stronger the more goblins that we play. And obviously the whole goblin strategy is just about flooding the board. Okay, then next up we have the famous Mogg Fanatic, 1 for a 1/1, and you can sacrifice it to deal 1 damage to any target. So kind of an annoying creature for your opponents to deal with. Then also Mogg Conscripts, it's 1 mana for a 2/2, but its downside is that it can't attack unless you've cast a creature spell this turn. Then we're also playing Goblin Cohort, which is the exact same card. Okay, then our final one drop is one of the best and is one of the key cards in the deck. It's good old Goblin Bushwhacker, 1 for a 1/1, but it has a kicker cost of 1. So if you pay the kicker cost, creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain haste until end of turn. So this is in a way our main win con. You want to drop down a ton of goblins, then play this, pump the whole team, and attack for a huge amount of damage. Okay, let's quickly move on to the 2-drops. They're not that many of them, but first up is Mogg War Marshall. It's 2 mana for a 1/1. It has Echo, so at the beginning of your upkeep, you have to pay the 2 mana, 1 colorless, 1 red. If you choose not to, you have to sacrifice Mogg War Marshall. But Mogg War Marshall says when it enters the battlefield or leaves the battlefield, you create a 1/1 goblin token. So even if you don't pay the echo cost, which you normally don't, you still get that 1/1 token, which is pretty cool. Okay, then we're also running Mudbrawler Cohort, 2 mana for a 1/1 with haste. That gets +1/+1 as long as you control another red creature. I'm running 1 copy of Sparksmith, 2 mana for a 1/1. It has tap. Sparksmith deals X damage to target creature and X damage to you, where X is the number of goblins on the battlefield. Then I'm running 2 copies of Burning Tree Emmisary, 2 for a 2/2. When it enters the battlefield, add 1 red and 1 green to your mana pool. This is not a goblin, which is why I'm only running 2, but the fact that it just creates enough mana for you to play another 2-drop after it is very nice for an aggro deck. Okay, and then finally we have our instants and sorceries, which we use to close out games. It's basically just tons of damage to the opponent's face. We have Fireblast, it's 6 mana for an instant, deals 4 damage to any target, but instead of paying the 6 mana, you can pay nothing and simply sacrifice 2 mountains to pay the cost of Fireblast. So this is very nice for killing your opponent once you've smacked them quite a lot with the goblins. In the late game, you just cast this usually for 0 and kill them. Okay, then classic lightning bolt, no explanation needed. And then finally, Goblin Grenade, sorcery, 1 mana, has an additional cost to cast Goblin Grenade, sacrifice a goblin. Goblin Grenade deals 5 damage to any target. So there we have it, that's the Goblin deck. It's just a super aggro deck that wants to smack down your opponent's life total with your goblins, and then once their life total gets perilously low, you just burn them to death. As I said, one weakness of this deck is board wipes, but hey, that's the goblin life. If you have ideas for how I could improve this goblins deck, or you have ideas you'd like to share from the goblin lists that you're playing, I'd love to hear it. And yeah, I'll see you at the next deck tech. Thanks for watching.